Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really focusing our attention on the absolute arteries of the American economy. I'm talking about the trucking industry.
hmm
And this is a business that is under, just unprecedented pressure right now. It's an essential service, but it's completely caught between these historic economic lows and some pretty radical technological change.
That's absolutely right. And our mission today, in this deep dive is to really synthesize that turbulence that's facing drivers and owner-operators. We're looking at the economic, the regulatory, and of course, the technological side.
But we're not just here to list the problems.
No, not at all. Crucially, we are unpacking a specific strategy from our source material, one that really advocates for a proactive financial exit, letting drivers get out on your terms.
And the organization behind this, I find them fascinating. They've got a long history in the industry, starting way back in, 2008 with lifeatrucker.com and their YouTube channel.
Yeah, and back then it was all about helping people get into a truck.
Right. And now they've completely pivoted. Their whole focus is on helping drivers get out and do it safely. That shift, that says a lot.
It really does. It's an acknowledgement that the pain and, frankly, the suffering that truckers are going through right now, it
Correct.
demands a solution that goes way beyond just driving more miles.
So the core idea here is if the industry is getting too volatile to rely on for your future, you need some kind of financial shield.
Exactly. The source material argues that the answer is building an extra stream of income. And specifically, they're talking about training truckers to use AI to generate that income.
Okay, so AI is the shield.
It's the shield. It's a protective layer. It cushions you from those crazy freight rates, the DOT crackdowns, and it can protect your financial future if your main trucking company, suddenly goes under.
That sets the stage perfectly. Let's start with what people are feeling right now, that
Yeah.
immediate, brutal reality, the economic squeeze.
The numbers are, well, they're unambiguous. Carrier sentiment is slumping, and that's according to data from groups like Ritchie Bros. But when you talk to owner-operators, the psychological toll is just severe. The math isn't adding up.
No, it's that cost-revenue gap that's absolutely crushing people. We're seeing dry van spot rates in some markets just hovering near historic lows.
We're talking under that punishing $1.60 per mile mark, and that's after fuel.
After fuel. And what about reefer?
Reefer rates feel financially frozen. The margins are so thin, you can practically read the load board right through them. The frustration we keep seeing in the sources is this reality where drivers are, quote, working twice as hard for half the revenue.
And the key factor, the real killer, is fixed costs versus variable revenue. Your truck note, that equipment cost, it doesn't shrink just because the spot market hits rock bottom.
Nope, your insurance, your maintenance reserves,
Okay.
they don't care if you only made $1.55 a mile this week.
So it creates this completely unmanageable equation.
It does. You get to a point where the risk of running the truck, the stress of just finding freight that barely covers your costs, it leads to that one question.
Why even bother turning the key?
Exactly. This isn't just about making less money. It's about your effort, your time being devalued.
And you can see the fallout. Small, mid-sized carriers, they're selling off assets. There's a surplus of used equipment hitting the auctions now.
Which, of course, puts downward pressure on those truck values.
Right.
And we're also seeing a major reversal with owner-operators. The sources are reporting a mass termination of lease agreements.
So lease ops are just giving up.
They're deciding the risk-reward is broken, they're handing back their authority, and they're going back to being company drivers just for some stability. Let the major fleets take on the equipment risk.
And even the big guys are feeling it.
Oh, they're stressed, they're cutting capacity, freezing hiring, looking for any efficiency they can find, which, often leads to layoffs.
It's just a cruel catch-22, isn't it? You can't outwork an oversupplied, weak market.
But you can't afford to sit still either, because those notes are still due every month.
So what's the bottom line from all this?
The insight is that you can't just grit your teeth and drive through it. The market structure is flawed right now, and that's why the proposed solution is to recognize this volatility and build past it, build a financial future that doesn't hang on the whims of a load board.
That economic crunch, though, it has to be forcing some risky behavior. Which brings us to the next layer of this threat, the compounding instability from physical and regulatory risk.
Let's start with the physical threats, because some of these reports are just deeply unsettling.
I saw one of these, the shots fired incident.
Yeah, in interior Alaska, 2 trucks from Black Gold Transport hauling high-value gold ore were actually fired on. near the Richardson and Stees highways.
And this wasn't just some road rage incident. The police are investigating it as attempted murder.
Attempted murder. So when you're hauling high-value loads, gold, electronics, pharmaceuticals, you're not just a driver anymore, you're a target.
It must change the whole job.
It forces this dangerous evolution in what a driver has to think about. It's not just road safety now, it's perimeter security. We're seeing companies push for advanced camera systems, security reviews, even convoy models in some high-risk areas.
So the job description is changing from just driving to high-risk asset transportation.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Okay, so shifting from that direct physical danger to a more systemic regulatory risk, the DOT has launched what some are calling a war on chameleon carriers. This sounds serious.
It is. A chameleon carrier is basically a fleet that dodges big violations or safety penalties by just shutting down its legal company.
And they're just popping back up with a new name.
Immediately. New name, new address, new DOT number. They're just trying to wipe the slate clean.
And the DOT has a good reason for this crackdown, right? There's a safety element.
A huge one. These fly-by-night operations are statistically 3 times more likely to be involved in a serious or fatal crash. They cut corners on maintenance because they know they can just disappear.
So how are they catching them?
Well, the dragnet is massive. They're using data-driven enforcement, algorithms that flag shared addresses, overlapping phone numbers, common equipment, that kind of thing. They assign a risk score.
And as a driver, you might be thinking, well, my company's legit, so I'm safe. But that's not necessarily true.
Not at all. If the carrier you work for gets caught in that dragnet and shut down, mid-load, you're the one who's financially stranded. You lose the load, you lose the pay.
And that collateral damage, it just gets compounded by compliance risk that forces downtime. The Colorado chain law is a perfect example of this.
It really is. It's financial pressure meeting regulatory intensity.
So in Colorado, every commercial vehicle has to carry chains from September 1st to May 31st.
Right, and level 2 enforcement means you must chain up if it's snowing. But what's new is the high-tech enforcement they're rolling out.
What are they using?
They're using pop-up checkpoints, drones flying overhead, even thermal cameras to see if chains are properly installed.
Wow. And the fines are steep.
Oh, yeah. We're talking $500 minimum. It can go up to $1,000 or more for repeat offenses. That's a huge hit, and it forces you to stop right then and there.
That downtime. Yeah. That's the core problem. Just lost money. And it's not only regulators causing it, it's truck manufacturers too, with all these recalls.
So many recalls. We've seen them for everything lately. Brake defects, faulty lighting, steering column failures, even serious fire hazards.
And if you ignore those recalls, because you're desperate to run a load,
you're risking fines, crashes, getting put out of service by a random inspection. The alternative is scheduling time in the shop, which is also mandatory downtime, lost revenue.
So, okay, let's connect the dots here.
Yeah.
Whether it's low rates or mandatory chaining up in the mountains waiting for a brake repair, or sitting still because the DOT just shut your company down.
It all leads back to one critical thing: unpredictable and increasing mandatory downtime.
Which makes the case for having some kind of off-duty income just undeniable.
And that need for stability is exactly why we have to talk about the most disruptive thing on the horizon. The one that threatens to, fundamentally change the job of driving itself.
The automation tsunami.
Yep.
Let's look at Pony AI's Gen 4 trucks. These aren't just concepts. They're real autonomous platforms built on battery electric or BEV architecture.
And the key headline is that they've managed to cut the bill of materials cost, get this, by about 70% compared to the older autonomous trucks.
70%. But the cost reduction is one thing. The economic model is the real killer app here, isn't it?
That's the one. They are projecting initial deployment in 2026 at 1,000-unit scale, and they're going to use what they call a 1+4 platooning model.
Okay, explain that model for us. What is 1+4?
It's incredibly efficient. You have one human-driven lead truck, followed by 4 completely driverless units.
Wow. So one human salary moves 5 loads down the highway.
You got it. And the economics of that are just staggering. The 1+4 model is projected to slash the cost per kilometer by nearly 30%.
Okay, that's huge.
But this is the number that should shock every carrier. It's projected to boost profit margins by an estimated 195%.
195%.
That 195% margin boost is like a lighthouse for venture capital and the big fleets. It means in just a few years, fleets using this tech will have a nearly 200% profit advantage over fleets still using the one driver per truck model.
Traditional carriers just won't be able to compete on price, period.
No way. And here's where the individual trucker has to face the music. As automation rises, the value shifts, and it shifts dramatically. The industry is moving away from valuing the physical skill of driving, that drive stick haul skill set.
And moving toward valuing tech-savvy oversight, data management, maintaining these complex systems.
Exactly. So the question for every long-haul driver becomes, are you ready to transition from being, a rotating chair in a cab to being a high-skill manager of a multi-million-dollar automated asset?
Because the truckers who resist that evolution, they're the ones who are going to be left behind.
When their employer's profit margins just become untenable, yeah.
So we've covered the whole crisis: flat rates, physical risk, regulatory audits, and this unavoidable threat of automation. This brings us right to the counter strategy from the sources: building the financial shield.
Right. The sources are committed to training truckers on how to leverage tools like AI to create reliable, recurring income streams online. And this isn't just some casual side gig, it's the financial armor you need.
But I have to challenge this a little. When you're running 11 hours, dealing with traffic, chaining up in a blizzard, the sheer exhaustion of the job, is it realistic for someone to suddenly become an AI content creator?
That's a critical question. And the answer, as it's presented in the sources, is that the strategy is designed for that reality. It uses AI not to create more work, but to automate most of the heavy lifting.
Okay, so it's not about trading driving time for desk time.
No. It's about converting that mandatory non-earning downtime, the hours you spend waiting out weather, waiting for a recall repair, into wealth-building time.
So the AI minimizes the effort required during those off-duty hours. Can you give us a concrete example of how a trucker could actually do this?
Sure. Let's say a driver knows everything there is to know about specialized freight, like heavy haul or reefer compliance. Instead of writing a bunch of articles, they spend 30 minutes during a mandatory break just generating prompts for an AI tool.
And the AI does what?
The AI then generates a structured guide or maybe a video script on, say, 10 must-know reefing protocols.
And they can post that to a niche website or a YouTube channel that's all about logistics.
Exactly. You use your truck knowledge, which is unique, combine it with AI's ability to create and distribute content fast, and then monetize it through affiliate marketing. You recommend the gear, the software, the tools you already use.
So that becomes a stream of passive income recurring month after month.
And that becomes the shield.
Yeah.
It's income that doesn't need diesel or a steering wheel or a good spot rate.
So this transition from being just a driver to being an earner who happens to drive,
Yeah.
that's the key to having autonomy outside the cab.
It's the path to retiring when you choose to retire, not when the market or the DOT or Pony AI forces you out. And for those who see the urgency and want to get started, the resources are available.
To start stacking money outside of the cab, you can find the training and resources at offdutymoney.com. And if you're looking for a structured plan for that exit, you can visit retirefromtrucking.com to get a free guide.
And that guide includes training on these specific AI tools. This is about empowerment. It's about taking control of your economic fate because the threats we talked about, they are not going away. They have to be countered with a real digital strategy.
What a monumental journey. We went from dry van rates under $1.60 and the shock of being fired on in Alaska, all the way to DOT crackdowns and that 195% profit boost from autonomous platooning.
The central theme is, well, it's undeniable. Trucking is the engine of the economy, but relying on that wheel and that load board alone, it's not going to guarantee you financial freedom anymore.
Diversified income isn't a luxury.
It's a mandate.
So we'll leave you with this final provocative thought to mull over, based on everything we've covered today. If mandatory downtime, from recalls, regulatory checks, mountain weather, if that is increasing and becoming just an unavoidable part of your job, how much is that wasted time truly costing you in lost opportunity?
And how quickly can you convert that mandated downtime into your most reliable source of income using the new digital tools that are right there, available right now?
The knowledge and the strategies are ready for you. Now go use what you learned today to start building your financial shield.
Be safe out there.
And thanks for taking this deep dive with us.